Hello. How you doing?
I am your host
with that. Of the Not So Corporate Podcast, Mark Drager. I'm not sure if you heard that, but I'm joined here in studio with Roland is back. Mr. Roland Echeverria.
Backrack.
No, not Backrack. You are back.
Oh, I'm back.
Backrack. If you're interested in any kind of truck cab accessory, you definitely want to look at Backrack. Its function and style for today's trucks.
I think they lost a tagline.
This episode was brought to you by Backrack.
Function and style for
it's still in the
today's
promotional material.
Anyway, we're also joined here with Louis Vazenios.
Hello.
And Mr. Kyle Edward Wilson.
Hello.
Edward.
Yeah, we worked the middle initial in there. How do you like that?
Smooth.
This is good.
For those of us who are joining us on the YouTube, you may notice that this may
in the YouTube?
May, if it works.
May be a 360 video. Now,
May.
if it's, I'm not going to belabor the point, but if this is a 360 video, hello. If it's not a 360 video, then let's cut this whole segment out, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
You look like those guys in high school who smoke a lot of weed and wear glasses all the time.
Oh, are you talking about me?
Yeah.
I have an eye infection currently,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm
Are
trying.
you sure there's not a lot of weed and that's why your eyes
It
are
reminds
red?
me of isn't the fan 590 that guy like wears
I made that.
sunglasses like this on radio show?
I made that joke the other day, and no one
Big
got it.
chunky guy.
But yeah. Anyway, so I'm too cool for school, so that's why I'm wearing these
All right, let's do
glasses.
this.
But
in Eddie's here, by the way.
yeah, so again, for those of us who are watching
I can
this,
see him in the video.
You're my boy, Eddie.
we got Eddie.
My boy.
Eddie, unfortunately, passed away recently, and this is a photo from his fake funeral. Roland, what was his motto to life? What would be on his grave?
On his grave, there was a very wise sentence that he used every day of his life,
Yeah.
which was,
Only one can control one's destiny.
that's correct. Very wise words from a very wise man.
I love it. Only one can control one's destiny.
Yeah.
Eddie, good time. Hey, can I ask you a question, guys, about that? Did we ever blur out the tombstone, the headstones?
Some of them did.
No.
Some of them we did.
Sure.
You just said no. Did we do any?
No.
Some of them we did.
Let's talk about the feedback I have for you. Oh, good segue.
Ooh.
Why didn't we? I
Like
requested that we blur out some of the names. Isn't there an issue with that? Is there any?
I don't
privacy
really
issues
think
with
there is an issue
No,
with
it's
it.
a public space.
It's
Okay.
a public... Well, you're not I don't know, representing them in a horrible way. I think maybe it's an issue if you're,
Cool. So
Well, hold on. When I
doing a horror
first
movie.
when I
Hold on,
first
hold on.
started
So
here,
the audience doesn't realize. So we shot a Kickstarter campaign video, which will be released over the next little bit in a cemetery. So this is what I'm asking about. This is Eddie, the guy who passed away.
yeah.
Only one can
buddy.
control one's destiny. And anyway, so what were you saying, Louis?
Wasn't there this project where you guys were scrubbing names off tombstones when I got here?
Yeah, but that's because
They
some
specifically
client
request-
asked for it.
client asked specifically about it for
Oh.
privacy reasons. I guess because they have contracts with the states of these people.
Oh.
Mm.
Well,
Well-
yeah, because we were doing it for the funeral industry. For the
But
funeral
you would think
home.
even that would be even more.
They're gonna profit
like, hey,
directly
it's
from
okay.
this video, from that video,
Oh.
from our video.
From our video, no one's profiting anything.
It's a Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
It's an awesome video. It's
Love
an
it.
awesome video. I
Love
can't
it.
wait for it to come out. And anyone who's watching this, say in October, look for it somewhere. But just go to Kickstarter randomly and look for it. But anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk. What are we talking about, Louis?
It's feedback. Yeah, feedback.
Louis, I don't know if anyone's realized over the last few episodes, I've pretty much stopped planning these, and I just show up at this point, and we just go with whatever Louis wants to talk about.
You actually showed up.
Mark has become the talent.
Yeah,
And,
I show up, and
yeah.
even though I say I'm the host, really, that's not the case at all. I don't usually.
The
know where-
success of this podcast has gone to his head. And
Why don't we have Leah here on Skype?
Oh man, I would
Yeah, we
like
should
to.
do that.
I'd like to roll her into something,
Yeah.
into the podcast.
Because
but
what? Because she's pregnant, or she was
She
pregnant?
can. She's at home.
She pregnant again?
No, dude, she just had the
I
baby
don't know.
2 or 3 months ago.
I'm not up to date about everything that happens in this
Whoa.
office.
Whoa,
We're out of it.
Irish twins, I think is what you call them.
That's right.
2 babies born in in a 12-month period.
Cool.
Anyway, so we're talking about feedback.
Yeah, feedback.
What did you want to talk specifically about feedback? I mean, we're not just let's tease the audience.
Just a tip.
How to handle feedback,
Yeah.
just generally.
Okay, how to
How
give
to- how to-
feedback? I assume.
Sure. How to give it.
Okay.
How to take it.
How to
Yeah. And
what about
how to interpret it.
Oh, okay.
Right. 'Cause
Great.
sometimes you don't know if that's really what it means.
I hear you. So how to give it, how to take it, how to interpret it. We're going to get all of that business
Just all the business.
coming up
Yeah.
right now.
Are you rolling this camera?
Are you
Kyle?
rolling? Are you rolling?
I'm
What's going
rolling,
on
yeah.
there?
This is like the worst podcast ever. I'm
Okay,
gonna
so-
edit this out, right?
No.
Yeah, okay. So you wanted to talk about feedback, Louis.
Anyway, so
that's
what
right.
about feedback? Where should we begin? The fact of
Let's talk about the fact that you just never
getting it.
you never take the feedback and then just run with it.
No,
You
never.
always call the client or the person and say, or talk to them and say, what the hell does this mean? Let's just start there. That was
right.
the
Yeah.
worst opening ever. Let's start there.
But sometimes you can just run with the feedback and say, "Oh,
If it's
spell
very
this
clear.
wrong.
Yeah.
Can you change it to this? Are you sure you want that to change it? Because I mean, let's talk about
So
it.
you're you're questioning it, right?
No.
Does anyone here? Let me throw this question. At
Yeah.
you. Does anyone feel good about feedback? Because I get a pit in my stomach,
Oh, I get so
Uh,
stressed
I've
out
seen
about
and
it.
I get offended or I get angry
I get defensive,
until I wait till the next day.
which is not good.
yeah.
Yeah.
On all
I don't
feedback
give a
all
shit.
the time.
I just call them up and be like, "Not a problem." I mean, okay, that makes sense. That makes a terrible video, but no problem. I'll do it for you.
Roland, you're talking. Okay, this is everybody knows this is office Roland talking. This is not
Yes.
client Roland.
Yes.
Roland in the office will be like, I don't really give a shit. If you want to ruin your video, ruin your video. What the do I care? Meanwhile, on the phone, he's just like,
Not a problem. No.
that's not a problem at all. I can totally help you. Let's just dig into this for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
discuss
unpack
this.
this.
Yeah, can we unpack this? I have a few recommendations. I think we should move forward with either A, B, or C for the following reasons.
I'm
And then he
putting all
hangs
the
up.
options there for you.
And then
I
he
just
hangs
wanna
up the
make sure
phone
that-
and he's just like, here we go. So here's what we're gonna do.
Why are you giving away my trick, man? Maybe a client is listening.
Oh.
They're gonna look at me differently.
Well, I would say that you don't do it all the time, but that's Roland. Any client listening to this podcast knows that you're different in front of them because right now you're acting like crazy, man. But so everybody gets that pit in the stomach, either
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do with this, or what are they asking for, or why would they say
You know what
that?
it
Do
is
they
though?
not
It's
know
not
how-
even. It's not even that.
It's because they're questioning your authority.
It's the in between.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the video goes out, and then it lingers in like space and time, and then the anticipation of the feedback, it grows and grows, and you're like, oh, I don't know. And then people in the office are
Why?
like, yeah, I don't know about this video, man. I don't know. And people start watching, and they're like,
It's like Lord of the Flies.
and people start in the office start like criticizing it. So then you're like, oh man, what's the client really
Kill
gonna
him.
think now?
That's
And it's like, oh, it's been too many days. It's been like 5 days. What's happening? And then like a week goes by, and you're like, okay, it's really bad. Then obviously they hate it.
But if you cut to the client and they're probably just like, I really don't want to deal with that email.
That's what I mean, right?
Wow, all the swears. all the
they don't want.
swears.
So
It's
much
not that they
swear.
don't want to deal with the emails. Like, I'm too busy going for lunch with Susie. I gotta be in meeting.
Fridays is
I
the
gotta
right
be
hour, so we're
early
gonna
for
move into
soccer
next
week. And one day I'll get to it, but I still want the same deadline.
Roland,
Just
Roland.
because I'm a week late, that
Roland.
doesn't mean
I
you
love
have
this.
to
Roland.
change things.
Hey, this is going to be one of those segments
need a
you
donut.
live to regret when a client is listening goes, were you talking about me?
Yeah, there's a specific
No
client
names.
I'm talking
No
to.
names.
You are going to...
Is that
You could just
recollection?
beep
6
his
years
whole
the best.
like little sentence there. Just,
All of it. All of it. Every
No
time he
editing.
talks, we're just gonna put the
Hashtag
the tone.
no editing.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
tones.
Just so you guys
Yeah.
know, we are running fast and loose today. No editing at all. So let's not mention any
You know what?
client
I don't get
names.
stressed out about feedback like that anymore. I don't anticipate it
Okay.
because like they have stuff to do. If they blow the schedule, I mean they got stuff on their plate. So when it comes back, I'll reassess it. Most of the time, people say, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to impact." I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, yeah, it does impact. I'll
Yeah.
do my best. It's gonna play in the game. You cannot personalize it.
Right.
Just see where they're coming from.
You want to know what's helped me with my anxiety recently?
Yeah, you give it to somebody else to deal with.
I don't know. From the looks of your glasses, I would say some sort of narcotic. But
Oh, snap.
No, it's one. Roland is right. If someone else is worrying about it, I don't worry about it at all. I know someone else has it on
Right,
the team,
yeah.
so that's really great.
Download it.
But the other thing is just to embrace the very simple truth that you can only do what you can do. We can only
Oh.
do what we can do.
right.
it's going on
right?
the board.
So and it's something like where if you do it too much, it drives me crazy if people tell me that because it's like, well, you're really not trying very hard. But if you're trying as hard as you can and you cannot turn it around fast enough. You can't make it happen.
Yeah.
The timelines are too tight. The budget's too tight. And you're trying as hard as you can. Then the truth is you can only do that. Like I used to worry about going the extra, right? Like how do we make the impossible happen? And then I would stress out to make the impossible happen. It wouldn't happen, or it would happen, and then the client would be like, oh, we're going to give it a few more days anyway. And then that's when I was like, you know what? We can only do what we can do, right?
That's true.
We'll try to do it in 3 weeks, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. We'll try to take the feedback and make it work. I don't know if it will or not.
Right.
That has been good for me and my stress levels.
I think too. When I see it, I mean, I care about each project that I work on, for sure. But it is not my project. It is the client's project. So I'm here to help and guide it, and I'm here to help him create something, but it's not mine. So if client says wants to try something, see something differently, I listen to the reason. I explain my reason why maybe it's not the best option. But at the end of the day, it's their project, and if they're set on it for whatever reason, they're legal, taste, or just overall whatever it is, internal politics, then I said not a problem. Well, then I'll grab that and I'll make the best that I can of that. But I'm here to help them.
Right.
It's not like I'm creating my own project.
Right.
You're breaking me. I don't.
So
think
you don't
that's
necessarily like fight them. Like what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily take your expertise and impose it on them. You just kind of, you're very zen about it. Like, okay, it's coming through. I'll do whatever you want.
I can recommend my expertise, but it's
Yeah.
up to them to take it.
Well, how much, though, I'll throw this out to you guys, like, I think it's something we really focus on, but how much does how you ask for feedback play into the type of feedback you get?
Well, I would say
I think
a
it's
lot.
important.
Because you got to
Yeah.
set certain ground rules for like, hey, we're only looking for
Expectations.
feedback on this.
Yeah.
Or,
If you just say like looking for your feedback, they could.
oh, I used to do when I
They could
first
do
started. I'd
so
be
much.
like, can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
and then then they feel compelled to
Yeah.
come up with something, and instead I'm just
Yeah.
like, please provide approval and or change requests, or like just like
Messaging,
it's like
text.
basically you're going to approve this, or you're going to
Yeah.
give me change, or something like that. I don't know, but
Right.
how important is it how you ask for feedback?
Got a position.
You had to ask for something.
Yeah.
You also gotta tell them where you are when you send a link.
Yeah.
You can say, here's a video, tell me what you think. It's more like, here's a rough cut. We haven't done color correct. We haven't done this. We haven't done this. It's a placeholder. This is
Right.
temporary.
Okay.
We're looking for messaging. Is the message correct? If it is,
Yeah.
then we'll work on the other aspects.
But what does premium meats mean?
What does that
I
mean?
keep hearing premium meats in the background. Roland, I'm
Can you
confused.
get rid of
I
that
just-
in the final?
I just don't.
It sounds
no
like
point
there's a
of bringing
woman
it
or
up.
man's voice.
What's the Japanese in the background? Is someone
Yeah.
saying Japanese? Is someone saying Envato in the background or something
Envato.
weird?
Yeah.
Envato.
Vato.
I mean, if you want to really handhold people, you could say, hey, by the way, this is a temp song.
Yeah.
I do say we haven't purchased the music. Let me know if you like, so we can license it.
Yeah, there's an audio watermark in the background, which you may be hear. That'll be removed in
nah,
post.
don't do
No,
that.
I used to do that, but I used to also do
Takes
a
so
lot of
much
hand
effort.
holding. So
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
you could just template it and then just copy and paste the same thing in each.
Oh,
tab.
then I had to Apple C, Apple V 2 times. No, man.
Nice.
Instead, you type it all out manually, but leave instructions out. That's a lot easier than just
No,
copying and
exactly.
pasting a standard.
Do you have drafts in your email of just when you're sending it, like this is what I say when I send a rough cut. This is
That's
I
what I'm
say when I-
suggesting he should do. And
Oh,
he's
okay.
saying that he doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
All handcrafted.
Nice.
Handcrafted.
Bespoke.
100% handcrafted.
No. When
from the streets of
when
Toronto.
we used to deal with say financial institutions,
Yeah.
I used to have my template because I explained every single step, what happens in each step.
Right.
I had like this long ass email. I just copy and paste, put the company name, the link, and send off. But now like
Now he tries to do everything handcrafted.
it's custom made. Yes.
Well, because it's from, it's got to be like very hipster style, like, the handcrafted farm to table movement of email.
That's what I
Right.
do.
I like it, man. I like it. No GMO.
No, but you
feedback.
cannot take
It's
it.
GMO.
personally.
It's
I don't
GMO
know.
free
GMO
emails.
Even the commercials, like stop when we did that commercial back in January, like
Yeah.
I was there. Like, you can see there's client, there's agencies, there's us, there's like
Oof.
20 people crew. I'm like, this is not mine. I'm here to help these people realize something.
Mhm.
Right.
So, provided ideas, solutions, recommendations.
That's interesting.
And unless they're really wrong, then I really like, listen, this is wrong.
Mm.
But it's just different. I'm not gonna fight
Right.
it.
So you don't get personal. You don't don't wear this thing on your sleeve. Like
Why
it's
would
not
I?
your okay. Well, because
I don't know
it's
the
representative of your work and the company that you work
Yeah,
for.
but no one has control over that.
Right.
You know, it's just I don't know if this plays into it or not, but I was listening to a great podcast, 99% Invisible, that I like, and they found this old footage from I think the 50s or 60s of like the world's most famous architects got brought together, and they were given a question. They were given a scenario. So Mr. X is an architect, a world famous architect, gets hired for a building, creates the most beautiful building ever.
Yeah.
Late in the design, the client comes back with a key change that would fundamentally change the design. What does the architect do? Do they accept the client change or do they quit?
Right.
What do they do?
So sorry, how far along are they?
Late into the design process, the client comes with a fundamental change, and they put it out to these architects, and then they had the audio. They like a 45-minute conversation, and it was super interesting to listen to these architects talk about how the only thing an artist has is the ability to quit, but they can only use that once. Right? And so do they give into the change? Don't they? It's their name, it's their reputation.
Yeah.
But if they don't take the change, they won't get the payment. If they don't get the payment, they won't stay in business. They won't get the next commission. So what do you do? It's
Well,
the
then people
fundamental.
have a negative.
It's the
They think
fundamental
you're difficult
problem,
to work with. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So everyone in the conversation almost all lean towards how it's actually shouldn't happen because it was the architect's problem for letting it happen in the first place. The client should have never felt that they had even the authority
Wow,
to come back to them. But they also all agreed that if that did happen, all of them would quit.
So-
They would all walk away.
So you think that it's possible for like a client to kind of, I don't know, step all over you?
Well, we know that is
Well,
possible if
yeah.
you don't have pull. But what I'm saying with the story is, what I found most interesting is that they all felt as professionals that the client shouldn't be led in the direction to feel that late in the process that they even have the authority to do so.
So how would you mitigate that?
Well, that's what I was asking about, asking for feedback or having change request cycles or ensuring that there are multiple stakeholder things, or even just continually selling the vision, right? Like it's really easy to sell the vision and get a client excited. But the sale doesn't stop until it's delivered because you're constantly reselling the
Well, and that vision
the initial,
changes over time as well.
But it shouldn't too much.
Shouldn't
That's the
too
thing.
much.
Like you resell the vision over and over again,
Right.
and the client should never feel like they have the ability to go like, oh, by the way, let's just make this wholesale change late within the process. Anyway, I just found it interesting.
No,
Anyone
that
can
is
check
very
out that podcast if they want. 99% Invisible.
But there's not change is completely. I mean, I see change as making a hard turn, bending the curve. That's different. So you can have projects where maybe it's not exactly your vision, but with some changes you kind of bend that around, but the essence is still there. It's different when you say, "Hey, let's do a video where you're gonna shoot 2 days." It's prompted with someone talking, and the client says, "You know what? I'm gonna change it to interview, and I want it to be on the street." That's a total like, wait a minute,
that's huge.
That's not just a little change.
Right.
But it's like, no, instead of the jacket, I wanted to wear a red shirt because more branding. I think it looks ugly, but like, but it could work. Then that's
Yeah.
just a bend.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what he said. I was just thinking about how in our process, what I'll do is we'll develop creative together, Roland and myself,
Yeah.
or I'll have a few team members develop creative. And then he takes, I take the initial concepts that the team comes up with and then I mold them. And then I work with the client over and over and over again, pitching and repitching.
Right.
And then when I come back to Roland or Oscar with to produce is usually like, in my mind, still what we originally came up with, but really far away from what they had in their minds. And so even internally, there's this big shift because what will happen is we'll be like, oh, Roland, we're still doing the exact same concept you came up with. We've just made these 7 fundamental changes. And he's like, okay, I was picturing it totally different. I'm like, oh, yeah, but all of that stuff got cut out and all of this other stuff has been added since then and blah, blah, blah. Here you go, like roll it out. So, the changes don't only also come from the client side, right? They can come internally as well.
Well, and speaking of internal, when you're dealing with projects that haven't yet perhaps gone to client and...
For our video watchers, my phone is ringing.
Oh, okay. You want
I have
to
no idea
take
who
that?
it is. No, I have no idea who it is.
Oh.
If I knew who it was, we would have a caller. We'd be like, caller, I should call Leah.
That could be funny.
Yeah, just call
Let's
her.
call Leah right
Call
now.
her and see what's going on.
Sorry,
I
keep going.
want to. Okay, keep
Keep going.
going.
Keep going, Louis.
Eddie's just looking at me, and it's like
Freaking
me
you out.
It's like he needs a mic in front of him to kind of be part of the conversation.
He wants to say something.
We've had projects before though that like even though you go through all those rounds of feedback and you keep asking questions, it just doesn't end up.
Yeah, but
where
you
they
only have
want
so
it.
much. You only have so much control because even if you're positioned the right way,
Yeah.
you're asking the right questions. If the person on the other side is not following through with the same steps internally,
Right. Oh
the
yeah.
chain is broken.
Right. That's true.
And that's why I can tell you from a project that we did about 2 years ago, a big telecommunications company, where we bust our butts off to do really
I
well.
wasn't even thinking of that one. I'm thinking of another one, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm talking about that one.
Okay.
Where I was all on the steps messaging.
Yeah.
We're going to do the color. We're going to do this. Do not worry. You like
Yeah.
the song so we can buy it. Everything, yeah. And then when they'd say, yeah. And then when we get closer to final, they finally sure internally. And when I saw the email, let me know what you think. Is there anything wrong with it?
Oh.
I was like, that's not what I've been talking about.
Yeah.
And then stuff starting to come out.
Yeah.
And she never positioned anything, never
No.
gave back context or anything. And then it turned out that, well, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
was like, wait a minute.
They're all just like, eh.
So no matter how hard I try, I lost control. The moment I passed the baton to this woman,
Yeah.
and she couldn't manage internally,
That's true.
I had the pool. I even wanted to go above her, email directly to the boss, and set this the record straight. But at that point, it was like no point. Just
So-
busy taking care of the kid, man.
So you're like, you get a groove, I guess, right, with the contact, and you kind of understand how they receive the feedback.
She's not there.
But you gotta.
But like, if that point person changes, or if it's like very removed, and like,
If
you
it's
know,
removed, and there's some point
Yeah.
persons that, even though you say in the steps, they forget that you mentioned stuff.
Yeah.
Even though you said, no, I used to do the whole thing. It's a watermark. This you got
Yeah.
here premium B or something.
Right.
And I would still hear, I didn't know. It's like, do you read the email?
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of
Yeah.
stopped putting that note there. Like, if someone asks me, I just say, oh, yeah, by the way, it's just a
Yeah, it's a
watermark. Like, why am I going to go through all this effort or create a template to send to someone that he's not going to read it? So
Right.
if it comes up, I'll explain. If it doesn't come up, perfect. Maybe I just become more relaxed.
Do you find it's easier
about
to?
anticipating the issues?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
addressing them before the client even has the chance
But
to think about it.
like this one, I'm thinking of. You're just gonna have to beep this.
Yeah.
Long-term care.
Yep.
Reaching higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beep all that.
No, you didn't say anything.
Okay.
You didn't say anything.
Remember
Yeah,
how
no, that's
remember
clean.
how
That's
many
clean.
rounds it was, and then how at the end it was just sort of like,
yeah.
didn't really.
I also
get-
remember over a long weekend having a conference call like on a Saturday
yeah.
morning with
ringing them in.
with them, and we were only halfway through the process, basically saying like, guys, we're at like 14 rounds of revisions right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
This is getting crazy.
Yeah.
This is getting crazy. But it didn't stop. It didn't change the culture. It didn't keep
No.
the next 6 rounds from happening.
No.
And
No.
even
So that's
so,
them.
And
that's
subsequent videos were still like I remember
It's
we
just
had
like
to
the
bring
other
somebody in
situation then.
for
Yeah.
the last project we did with them
yeah,
because it was getting out of control there, and
it's just now, we have another client, a pension plan client, where we just like, I give them my pricing with additional stuff.
Pat it.
And if they ask why the pricing is the way it is, I say,
Yeah.
this is your pricing.
Yeah.
This is pricing just because we know that you're going to go to
Yeah.
8 rounds of revisions because
Right.
during we're going to redo scripting 3 times and throw it out and start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to give you, like, I've also given them in some cases like, hey, this is what we would charge someone else and this is
Right.
what we're charging you. Like, if you want me to give you whichever price you want, but no, the lower what we charge someone else, you'll run into overages.
Yeah.
The other one already anticipates how you guys like to work. I think that's fair,
Oh, yeah.
right? If they want 18 rounds of revisions, that's fair if they give you the time and the budget.
absolutely
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
No.
If they give you the time and the budget. It's when people expect you to do stuff without any extra time or extra money, right?
Right.
Like, that's the part where I go, like,
Yeah.
how do you expect this to happen?
yeah.
I just don't understand.
Do you really take feedback personally, Louis?
Don't you, Roland?
So, yeah, but I think for
Why?
different reasons
Because
I come-
he's a feeler and he's an extrovert. He's
not
an
only that, like
ENFJ.
my prior experience dealt like with wedding clients and
You've been damaged.
and wedding videos are very personal in nature, and
He's damaged
it
goods.
just kind of I think it grew from that. I think that sensitivity comes from there, but I think I'm getting better at it.
Can I get any more relaxed?
Yeah. I see what you mean. I mean, I don't want people to come say, "Wow, what you did was shit." Like I would take it personally, because
Yeah.
Well, because it's a reflection of my work.
compromise my abilities. But if the feedback is not that, it's just so there's right and wrong. I guess I'm quoting a wise man that I met once and still know. That there's right or wrong, and is I like it, I don't like.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
someone doesn't like something, but it's not wrong, it just doesn't like it.
That's
then
a
I
really
don't
good
care.
philosophy, isn't it? I didn't even steal that from someone. I came up with that on my own. Isn't that a good philosophy?
This thing is great. I love
Right,
it.
right and wrong, my way, not my way.
I love it. That's different. But like someone says,
Do it.
you know, when someone says, "Oh, why is it so dark? Make it brighter." I'm like, okay, no problem. Make it brighter.
Right.
I think it's wrong. I mean,
Oh,
I don't,
yeah.
You should. Roland is a classically trained cinematographer, right?
Yeah.
With feature films in huge film festivals and everything. When he started working with us, we would we would shoot like CEO messages to the field, and he would light it so dramatically, so moody, so dark, so amazing that the clients who were used to television lighting, which is just like take 4 lights and blast
Yeah,
it at someone,
high
they'd be
key.
like,
Yeah.
why is it so dark? And we're like, Roland's like, so you can see through the window, so you can see the light off the building in the background, so you can see the proper shadowing. He's like, this is right lighting. This is how to light right.
Yeah.
You'd be like, can you just make it a lot brighter?
Yeah.
And so finally he had, like, it took you probably like a year to get over like actually lighting correctly to light
Yeah.
the wrong way, so clients wouldn't question how dark it was.
Because they don't. That's not important to them.
Dude, it was just so funny to do like a teleprompted message from a CEO with like the most amazing cinematic lighting ever.
You're getting very comfortable here.
Oh, dude, I am
Like,
loving
you got
this.
your shoes off, your feet up here, your
Yeah.
sunglasses on. You're like Christian Slater or something in that
I
movie.
need a beer.
Christian Slater.
I need
Wow,
a
that's a
We have
bold
2
reference.
Guinness.
yeah. I was gonna say I need a stout just to get me through the
All right,
afternoon.
man.
Anyway,
So like you, it doesn't like there's not like a tinge sometimes. Oh man.
Well,
really?
if it's only like I said, is if it's something that is around my abilities to do something,
That's like
Then
you
I-
didn't shoot that
I
properly.
didn't shoot it properly, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Or like it's simply like I didn't get the concept. Like I was talking go left while you went right. Like
Right.
then I was like, oh, okay. Then my instincts were flawed. But if it's just is in the same ballpark, we're having kind of it's not exactly how I want it, but it's in the ballpark.
Right.
I don't really.
the worst
impact me.
is when people are just it's not good feedback.
Yeah, they're
And that's
just
the worst
not
when it's just
clear.
like, I
That-
didn't,
but that's
I
the
didn't
thing,
see it that way.
clarification, right?
I didn't see it that way, and you're like,
yeah.
okay, I don't know what to do with that feedback, or when they quit, like, why would you have done that? Like that is it. They don't mean it to be insensitive or mean, but just going like, why
Right.
would you have edited that way? Why would you have and it's just like, oh boy, that like.
The only time I get really kind of not upset but annoyed is when a client provided feedback is uneducated about.
Yeah, but that's our
video.
opportunity to educate them and
Oh
ensure
yeah.
that they're
Get that stinger in there.
what.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Stinger.
sorry.
I
you-
meant that's the opportunity to educate them about how the industry works.
I think there's two types. There's the uneducated, and there's the I think I know a little bit about this stuff.
Kind of
Well, of
like
course.
hey, we work with people all the time and we never have to. do
Or
that.
I have
Yeah.
I have a background in audio recording. Or
I took a few lynda.com classes.
Exactly.
Okay.
No. Even
Clearly
funnier
know what
than
I'm
that
talking
is
about.
is when people come on set and be like, this doesn't happen a lot to us, but when you're working with a marketer, and they're like, I used to work for a video production company, and I
Yeah.
directed
Yeah.
some, and be like, oh, cool, like, yeah, well, you like,
Little
when,
bit
and they're like,
connection.
yeah, in the mid '90s, things were like,
Oh.
really different. And you're just like,
Mid
you're just like,
90s.
oh, okay. Or when they fancy
Da Vinci's
themselves,
Inquest.
when they fancy. I mean, I'm gonna be like this. In 20 years, if I'm not running this company and I'm hiring someone to be a videographer, I'm gonna be like, back in 2005, I started a video production firm.
Oh
And
my god.
I think I know how to tell you how to do your job, buddy. That's gonna happen to all of us.
yeah.
If we're not here, we are gonna be those people.
Yeah.
Roland will be that
Right.
person.
Me now. I'm chill.
You don't think you're gonna be like, I used to be somebody?
Even like that 65-year-old like ENG guy, and they're I could do a day rate, and
Are you?
I know this
Are you sure?
yeah, sure.
Are you sure this is where we're supposed to be?
What do you want to do? Handheld stuff. We'll put it on the sticks. We'll zoom in from here. Not need to move it. Not a problem.
That was some of the funniest feedback we got. Do you remember that time when we shot that culture video and we showed them jumping off points that were extremely documentary, like small town grassroots documentary? So we shot the whole thing handheld and on a shoulder mount, and then the feedback that came back from the company after the first cut was,
Making me
"Why is it
dizzy.
so shaky? Don't they own a tripod? I don't understand."
I don't understand.
That's the
That's
engineering
awesome.
firm.
And we were just like,
I
well,
don't understand.
Of course we own.
How
a
many
tripod.
question marks were after that sentence?
Of course we own a tripod. First of all, second of all, we showed you examples of how we were going to shoot it, and you signed off on it.
This is way too shaky.
Don't they own a tripod?
Oh.
Yeah. It's also the mortgage insurance company.
Ugh.
Oh man, when they were providing feedback.
Mortgage insurance company.
Data.
Dada.
Data?
You know them.
Data.
Dada.
I don't. Let's keep talking. It'll come to me later.
Yeah.
I did a well, no, I attempted to do a short.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about.
You want to go with it?
No, I think I know who you're talking about. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Where you'll be like, okay, but I explain that to you already.
No, it
oh,
doesn't
but that's
matter.
not okay. That's not what I understood, like or stuff
Oh.
like that. Or the best is like, can you crop this, and this for the as I mentioned before, this video we can really do crop it. Okay,
Yeah.
so can you crop this instead? Like, okay, as I mentioned,
I love the
I'm ready.
crops. It's like, can you crop in on that? And you're like, okay. This isn't Photoshop, but
Can
okay.
you get rid of that sign back there, like real quickly?
Let's not let this devolve into us
Yeah.
just bitching about clients.
No, no.
All right.
Yeah. They don't understand our language.
No, listen,
right?
listen,
They're
listen.
using words that they
I love
Yeah.
client. I love client.
It's not about that though. It's like
Get the feedback
It's
out
like
here.
the really good clients are the ones you love working with, and you're like, oh, they get it, cool.
Yeah.
It's just everyone else.
No, I know.
There's just everyone else where it's just like, okay. But we got to understand, like, for the vast majority of people, this is not anywhere near their full-time job.
No.
No.
Not even
They
like
have no idea.
but the truth is, it doesn't even matter to them.
Simply put,
Right? This is a project that they have to get through,
Yeah.
just like the
That's
other
true.
60 they're going to do this year.
Right.
It matters, but they don't care enough to have to learn everything.
No.
So I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, it's better when you're more of like an agency of record, or you're doing more work with the client.
Yeah.
You build that rapport. You build enough trust. Like with Tanya Stadnik, who we had on the podcast
Yep.
about account managing, we talked about the fact that she runs the Marketing Hall of Legends. Year one, man, every conference call I had this pit in my stomach, like, what are they going to think? What are they going
Yeah.
to say? And they were impressed. Year two, we blew the doors off of it. By year three, I literally called her up and I said, listen, you're busy. We're just going to do whatever the heck we want. And if you don't like it later, you can yell at me. But I'm
Yeah.
not even going to run stuff by you because you don't have time.
Right.
I don't have time to wait for you. We want to do an amazing work, so I'm not even going to run anything by you.
Yeah.
And we literally, we didn't really pitch her a concept. We just did it. We just ran with it. And after the words, I was like, hey, were you happy with it? And she was, and so it worked out. But if you work with people more, you can get
Sure.
to that place where you just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. So
Like,
when you
like that-
react to feedback, do you call them?
Yes.
It's better to just talk to them on the phone, right?
I don't make assumptions about the feedback unless
Right.
it's literally, oh, the spelling of the name is this to that. I just, even if I understand, I would like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Let me know. And that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, on the phone. Perfect.
Right.
I don't like to make assumptions. I don't like to trickle in feedback if I can.
Right.
I like to keep it to myself and like you can give you all of it.
You have to know people's mindsets too, right? Like something in writing might sound harsh,
Well,
or it might
that's
sound happy.
that's why I ask that.
and
Just
even if
email
you're
them
just
back.
even if you're just checking and being like, hey, like Roland said, all the feedback's clear.
yeah.
Just want to see, like, what did the team think about it? You know,
Right.
did they like it? Are you happy with the direction?
Mm-hmm.
I send emails like that for other projects too with people where I just check in to see where they're at. Like,
That's
hey,
the thing
Hey,
that
you're
bothers
working
me the
with
most.
Roland. How's it going? Is
Yeah.
everything going well? Are you happy with the progress? Are we on?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't like when they're very like when they're passive or neutral about, oh, here is the feedback. Like, they have there's no hey, I really liked it, or hey, this isn't great. Like it's just very like
like when I
all
call
business.
But when I call them, I say, it seems straightforward. Are you guys happy? You guys, is this what you and
Right.
your team want? And then because of that, most of the time I say, yeah. But there have been times when, especially in that telecommunications project, where I was getting feedback and it was very light, and I asked, "Are you guys happy?"
Yeah.
And then the answer was like, "Nah, they're
Okay.
okay." I thought we were gonna be more emotional or whatever the
Wow,
answer was.
okay.
It's like, but hang on, but that's not what we set out to do. This is for this purpose.
Right.
So yeah,
Resell the vision. Resell the vision.
Resell it.
and then like, yeah, but yeah, someone watching it didn't feel like it was like, but I they aware of the conversation and the use of them, and then at that point, you could tell that she was like uncomfortable because I was pushing her.
Uh-oh.
Right.
And clearly
Okay.
she helped drop the ball on her own
Okay.
side. And she's like, yeah. So I dropped it too. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'm here to make things right. So
Right.
if there's anything else I can do, let me know.
You can't convince a client they're wrong.
But how do
No,
you
no.
how do you create those opportunities of reselling this vision?
You had to bring it back up. You had to remind them of
At what point?
You pull out the
all
document.
that all one is needed as you go.
So would you
around.
do that before a rough cut, after a rough cut? At what stage are you trying to like keep the vision
whenever
in
the
mind?
feedback is coming that is doesn't seem to line up with the vision?
Mm.
Okay.
You call it on it and say, hey, I saw this note, that note. I just want to make sure that this is what we set out to do. This is the reason why we did this. Blah 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 blah. Like a law firm that we're working with,
Yeah.
where the feedback comes in, it contradicts everything that was kind of we sold on them.
Right.
I am
Right.
aware of the company already,
Yeah.
so I knew that was going to happen. I
Right.
have
You have prior
good under-
experience
a
with
good
that. Yeah.
prior experience, a good understanding. I knew
Right.
that was going to happen. When feedback came back, I reminded them of the vision,
Right.
but this has become the client, the person you're talking to, and then they have a client.
Right.
So
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
client might be but his client either did not remember, didn't know, or couldn't see it. But my client didn't turn around and hey guys, by the way, this is jumping the phone. Instead, what he did is like, oh, it's okay. Let's just do what they ask. He gave up, so I can no longer push it. I had to give in to what has been asked of me.
Right.
I'm not gonna go above and start calling random people and say, "Hey, this guy's dropping the ball," whatever it is. And I lost all audio, but I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
You lost audio?
I don't hear. I
Can
don't
you hear me?
him.
I don't hear any fuzz anymore. That's great.
Hot fuzz.
But I hear
Oh, yeah.
Was
I hear
Oscar
Kyle.
touching it?
everybody.
You should be able to hear everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was Oscar?
Roland's
doing?
very loud.
Whatever you did,
Can you hear everybody now?
kind of muted everything.
Yeah. What was the hot fuzz for?
Someone clearly put their phone on mute.
No, I noticed that somebody EQ'd this to move everything up except for 250 hertz was all the way at the bottom.
Oh.
Oh.
So does it
You
sound
know
better
what?
now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it sounds
It
like
sounds
it.
exactly the same to me.
It's a bit dry.
Really?
No, it sounds completely different now.
I just
Yeah.
hit bypass. We're bypassing the EQ now.
Okay. To me, it sounds very different. Anyways,
Better?
Well, that'll be fun.
Better?
It
Worse?
was cleaner.
I don't hear as much.
That's fine. Adobe has the
Hashtag no editing.
auto EQ.
Yeah.
Feature?
But anyway, so there's
Yeah.
that part, right? Like, you I know in that part you get very emotionally like disturbed. And in the meantime, I'm like, I guess because I have experience with them, I no longer have that. I understand the culture, but I know my contact didn't, for lack of a better word, have the balls to turn around and say, guys,
Intestinal fortitude.
we
Right,
are
okay.
we're veering off from what we set out to do. He just said, "Oh, just do the changes, should be fine." He doesn't want to stir. He doesn't want to stir any
Yeah.
trouble
People.
internally.
They just need to get the job done.
Get it done.
And like one of our 5, right? Our 5 questions. One of them is understanding who your customer is.
Right.
And so, we have these kind of questions that hopefully we all have memorized here on the team, right?
100%.
So
Yeah,
we
I
so
don't
we have
know,
these
Jess.
5
Yeah.
things that we use to help with client management.
Yeah.
So it's understanding the ask.
Right.
So what's
Yes.
the true ask, not just the question they're asking.
Right.
It's understanding who your customer is, who's the real customer. It's
What's valued?
It's understanding what's valued.
Yeah.
So they may say one thing, but they believe another thing.
Right.
It's never saying no. So yes, however.
Yes, however.
We don't like to say no to people. We like to say, yeah, we could do that for you, but it's going to add 3
Mhm.
weeks. Or
Yeah.
yeah, we could do that for you, but it's
Yeah.
going to add $10,000. I don't like saying no to people.
Right.
Yes, however. And then the 5th one is,
What is the 5th one?
let's see, customer.
That's
What's
quiet.
valued? Yes, however. What is the ask?
Really quickly go outside.
Who? No.
Go check the big board. We shouldn't have these 5 memorized.
no, it's-
Louis doesn't want to give up now.
Hold on. It's
Okay, let's pull out the picture.
Anyway,
that we
so
took.
so you'll look up the 5th one, but basically it has to do with the customer. Is a lot of times the people who are internal contacts are not the customer. It's
Right.
it's 2, 3, 4 levels up. It's someone who's the wife of the business owner who gives you
Yeah.
feedback, and you're like, where did this come from? Or
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I shared it with my friend, and you're like, what? Like
Yeah.
these stakeholders come out of the woods. We try
Yeah.
to tease them out early on, but you never know who the real customer is unless if you just spend a lot of time asking.
It's like if they're watching at their desk and like their coworker comes over and eating their lunch and they're just like, that looks weird.
Yeah.
And then they put that comment in the email.
Yeah. Oh, I was showing it to
Coworker
someone.
says looks weird.
Yeah,
It
no,
looks
I
weird.
get that all the time.
Oh, we got that with that consulting firm where they're like, they saw the rough cut, which was super rough. And they're like, I showed it to a few people, and they were like,
Do you even know what a rough cut is?
and they were like, we spent way too much money on this. They couldn't believe what the budget was. And we're like,
Wow.
but it's like it's a rough cut with unlicensed stock, and none of the graphics have been built yet. We're like, okay, I don't know what to do with that feedback. The feedback was like, we spent way too much money on this. If this is what it looks
What
like,
put that
consultant
over
is this?
I can't talk about the firm. But I mean,
Yeah.
it ended up
I'm
being a
gonna
really great
table that.
project. But
Jeez.
Yeah, that comes through all the time. Like some random person. Yeah, I show it to like this girl, and she says this, and I'm like, has she aware of the project? Does she know the goals are? Oh no, I'm like, okay, you just answer your own question. Kind of.
target audience. It's all about the target audience.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I don't know.
Have you ever had any of that like really bad, like just it's like a paragraph or like an essay of just like rambling thoughts? It's not even really feedback.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
I
worst.
used to get it with agencies. You remember? Like, I used to
Oh.
like this and that, and then like, where are the time codes?
Yeah.
What section are you talking about?
Yeah.
Change this and that, and then
The best is when you send rushes, and the thing is a rough cut.
That only happened once. When I got that call, and I got
Do you
yelled
even
at.
know
like,
how to make a video?
and they're like, "These are terrible. Like, why are you sending the same shot over and over again? Why, like, I don't even understand. The people aren't even doing anything at the beginning of the takes."
It's video torture.
So
And we're just
bizarre.
like, we didn't send a rough cut. Oh, you didn't?
No.
No, we sent selects. You asked for dailies. Oh, okay.
And someone forwards it and says, like, "Here's the rough of the video."
Oh
And
my
someone's like,
God.
"What?"
It wasn't their fault because it was like through the grapevine, right? It was like they didn't even really see it. It was like
Grapevine.
comments from a comment from a comment. But yeah, that's also not great when that happens. How do you find photos on
I
Facebook?
thought the
fifth
video was
thing
gonna
is
go.
patio
I
lanterns.
thought the video was gonna go viral.
Patio lanterns. That song?
Every time I sing that at home, Stephanie's like, "Stop singing that song. I hate it."
What song is this?
Why are you singing patio lanterns?
I don't know. Every once
Patio
in a while, I just start
lantern.
singing it.
Patio lanterns.
It's like, I hate it.
You know what song got stuck in my head? The original "Break My Stride."
Plan? What?
You know the original song "Break My Stride."
Oh,
Ain't no one hold me down. Ain't no one gonna break my
Gotta keep it
stride.
moving.
I gotta keep on. That's
Are we done with feedback here? Is that all the feedback we got?
Well, we're trying to look up
Uh-oh.
the fifth. Yeah, the fifth.
Oh my God! It's right here.
So go look. Go look. I got it. Oh, Roland,
It's
dude.
something different. No? How do it's a
Uh,
how.
It's a how. It's a how. Oh, here it is. A how. Let's see. I found it first.
How? Yeah, I thought
It's
it
how,
either
right?
a who or a how.
Perception is truth.
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah,
Perception
how will the
is
client
truth.
see me? right?
Perception is
Yeah.
truth, right? So it's understand your customer, understand the asks, what's really valued. Yes, however, which means never say no. And that was the big one. Perception is truth.
Perception
That
is
one's
truth.
invented for Oscar because perception is truth.
Oscar walks in
No, it's not that. It's just it doesn't matter.
and they think he's the boss.
It doesn't. No, not that. It doesn't matter what the truth is because when he started here, and other people too. When they start, they're like, but they would start to justify. They'd be like, but I told the client this, or but my intentions were. It's like doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever's in the client's mind. If the client thinks you're unprofessional, doesn't matter if you're professional or not.
Yeah.
You're unprofessional.
Yeah, that's true.
If they don't trust you, doesn't matter what you say or do. They're
No.
never going to trust you.
No.
Right? If they think that you're lying to them or trying to sell them on something, nothing you could do to change that.
Yeah.
Right? If they think you're an asshole, you've just become an asshole. Like perception is truth to everyone. There's nothing. It's very, very hard to change that. So we got to be really careful
Yeah.
to make sure that you're perceived the correct way.
Mm.
Right? Like it doesn't matter what your true intentions were.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
lots of
you
smiley
try your
faces.
best because you try your best to be perceived well, but that perception is also shaped on people's eyes and people's lens.
Right? Knowing you can't control that.
And then, so let's say if I'm not like overly smiling at a party or something, and someone think, oh, that guy's an asshole,
Yeah.
Right.
they're already made up their mind, even though I'm just probably really tired, or maybe I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about a project, or I
Yeah.
need to go home and do something. I gotta buy
like-
diapers
It's
on
that
my way
impression,
home.
that first impression.
Right, like the classic thing is like one of your friends sees you out to lunch with a woman, and you were laughing and having fun, and while you were
Uh-oh.
eating lunch, she like brushed your shoulder.
Right.
Right.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't matter if you guys are just friends. It doesn't matter anything, right?
Right.
Whatever they perceive
Right.
to them is like, what is
That's
going
right.
on in that marriage?
Oh, and then they start making a story like,
Mhm.
that's why that day they left early. They weren't looking at each other. Remember?
That's right.
That's exactly. They start making out this whole story in the movie.
the,
in their
uh,
mind.
It's like
yeah.
Ashley Madison right there.
It's the Stanley Hudson paradox.
There you go.
But he really was cheating.
He
on
was
his
cheating,
wife, and his wife knew about it, but she
Yeah.
didn't care, right?
Was it? Did she not care?
I think she was mad that because she kind of just ignored it.
But he leaves her though. He leaves his wife, right?
I don't remember.
think so.
I don't have enough time lately to get into the office. Things have been really busy. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Perception is truth.
So if it's
It
just
seems that way.
perceived, if it's just perceived
It's
to be busy,
perceived to be busy.
Perceived.
until you look at the P&L and you're like, oh, I guess we're not as busy as I thought we were.
That's right.
So if I walk around all the time just being like,
It's like day trading.
like
right?
You walk
busy.
around all day going ding, 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 then we'll think we're super
Ding, ding,
busy.
ding, 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 ding.
I only ding when it goes up on the wiki. So we got this thing when you make a sale, right? You say ding, 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 right? Pretty basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Roland was able to ding a little bit earlier today. Or no, you didn't yet. It hasn't contracted.
I think we need that
Conscious
that was
design.
easy button.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard
I like
part
that.
is done.
We should do that.
So
The
we need a
hard
button.
part is
Actually,
done.
yeah.
Can you isolate this? Ready?
Yeah.
The hard part is done. Is that good? Or should we be more like, the hard part is done?
Let's do a laughter like someone that we knew.
Ho, ho, ho. Like that?
It's not Santa Claus.
Yeah, that sounded like Santa Claus.
What was it just like that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
It's
that's
closer.
okay. Roland doesn't like it when I do voiceover.
I guess
Do
when
we have
I
any donuts left?
okay.
Yeah, we didn't need any.
We have donuts.
The hard part is done. I made a sale, so I guess I'll go
Guys,
home now.
it's
I'm gonna
Need
check it
donuts.
out for the next
Understand,
couple
it's-
months.
it's
Is
Friday.
anybody listening to this at this point?
Yes.
It's
Well,
Friday.
if you made it this far.
It's Friday afternoon.
It's not Friday.
It's Friday afternoon. No one's gonna pick up the phone, so I'm just gonna
I'm
go
gonna
ahead and
check
take
out.
off.
Yeah. No one's
I'm
around.
for our lunch when I'm driving there.
Anyway.
It's gonna get canceled.
Anyway, that was our.
Our past.
Okay.
So with Kyle's that was the end of that nice little chit chat. Listen, guys, if you have any feedback for us, if you have feedback for us on our feedback, you can reach out to us.
Oh, I always love
Feedback.
feedback on
okay, my
feedback.
apologies.
Feedback at notsocorporatepodcast.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter at PHANTA Media. Over there, for those of you who are watching on 360 video, if it worked. If
Let's
not,
hope it does.
What's going on, people?
That's Roland Echevarria, the head of production. Louis Vazenios, video master editor. Kyle Wilson, and then I'm your host, Mark Drigger. Any final words, guys?
Any feedback?
One can only control
One
one's
step.
Yeah,
destiny.
I think that's it, man.
That
That's
wise
it.
man said
You
it.
nailed it. This guy's creeping me out. Next time we flip him over. It's not right.
He should be in one of the chairs.
Hold on. If you're going to isolate anything, you isolate Louis saying next time we flip off.
Next time we turn him around.
Turn him around. You can't watch this.
It's too weird.
Put a bag over his head.
Next time we flip him over.
We just flip him over.
Oh shit.
Okay, goodbye, guys.
I love
feedback.
I love feedback. I love it.
Get that baby out of here.
I feel like you're doing a drunk
it
Donald
out of
Trump
here.
right now.
I love babies, but that one, get it out.
You know,
Get out.
you know
I love
what I
that
like about
feedback.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how America
Get outta
was
here.
built. Of feedback.